wives and concubines. 700 wives and 300 concubines, altogether 1,000. There was no law against the number of wives that one could have. So under those circumstances, if one was not enough, you could have taken another. If two were not enough, you could have taken four. Why did you go and interfere with somebody else's property? Despoiling somebody else's rights? This guy, he deserves death, stoning him to death. And to me, this is the law. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Eye for an eye, quick justice. Get moving, there's work to be done. This was the philosophy, the psychology behind the laws that were given. And these laws, we Muslims believe, were given by God Almighty for the needs of the children of Israel. But laws have a tendency to change the characters of people over a period of time. Any law, every law, they change the characters of people. Hitlerite Germany, one of the most cultured nations in Europe, the Germans, supposed to be. That nation incinerated 6 million Jews. All right, some say it's a fifth. All right, if not 6,600,000, if not 6,000, if not 600, I say even that is dramatic enough. Just because they were Jews, if you destroy a people, I say it's dramatic enough, whether they were 600 or 6 million. How could this nation do such a thing like that? The land of Goethe and Beethoven, cultured nation. How can they do that? No, we can all be programmed. You see, under Hitler, they programmed the Germans, they said these are parasites. These people here, the Jews are like this, the Jews are like that. And once you work up a nation on that level, emotionally, and even the good-hearted people, they can see what's going on. But they close their eyes, they say, look, they deserve it. They deserve it. And they allowed 6 million Jews to perish. Laws. In our own country. We are living in this country, everything is based on color. And because everything is based on color, we become color conscious. To such an extent that from my own experience I can tell you that since I'm a talker, I talk religion, I love to talk. And I have been inviting people, the whites, Jews, Christians, of course the blacks as well, Indians, Africans, coloreds, but I'm talking generally about the whites now. I have had hundreds of whites coming to my home. No, I invite them. They enjoy my dinner, they enjoy my food, my curry and rice, my spices. They enjoy it, and they enjoy my talk. Because everything that I'm speaking is from an angle which the man hasn't seen before. So he enjoys my talk, and he enjoys my food. But no white man has ever invited me to his home for a cup of tea, yet. And I asked them, they meet me subsequently in the street, Mr. and Mrs. Daniels, Leopold Products, I don't know if they still exist in Mobile, Leopold Products. He was at my home. Mr. and Mrs. Beer Brothers, the furniture people, they were at my home. Mr. and Mrs. Baynard, Jews, they were at my home, I don't know. But I said, nobody ever invites me to his house for a cup of tea. When I meet them in the street, they meet me and say, now how's the missus? I said, she's very good, she's very well. He said, convey my regards to her, which I do. But nobody says, what about coming home for a cup of tea? So I asked them. I know it's a big joke, you see. I asked them, I says, you people, don't you know how to reciprocate? Don't you reciprocate among your own people? Of course you do. Then how is it that you don't reciprocate with me? I said, I tell you why. You see, at the back of your mind, at the back of your subconscious, you are thinking in terms of color. That if this guy comes along to my elite home in Durban North, or somewhere in Westwood, with this funny headgear and this beard, looking for number 10 Downing Street of yours, and I see people are watering the garden and somebody is doing something else, and I come along and see the number, I come and knock at the door, and Mrs. Smith, she opens the door, smiling face, oh, Mr. Dida, come in. So I go inside there, 5 minutes goes, half an hour goes, and the tongues begin to wag. He says, what's this woman, Mrs. Smith, doing? I said, well, that coolie has gone inside so long. What's happening? Is she running a shebeen or what? I'm subconscious, subconscious. And if I was there, and if his brother-in-law comes along, Mr. Smith's brother-in-law comes along, he'll have to apologize for my presence. You know what he's going to do? He said, this is Mr. Didak. We went to his house and his family, they treated so wonderfully. We had such a lovely meal. All that you have to go out of your way to explain my presence there. If it was another Mr. Brown, he said, this is Mr. Brown. He said, hello. happens. But Mr. D that you have to explain, how does it happen that this coolie happens to be here? So you have to explain. So this is at the back of the mind. Back of the mind. Subconsciously. This fear is there. So now nobody invites me for tea. I know somebody might now. I hope you don't, because I want to still keep on saying nobody has. So we say now that is laws. Laws change the characters of people. So by the time Jesus comes on the scene, the Jews had a law, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. So the Jews forgot forgiveness. See, I was trying to chase the birds. Suppose I was there then, in the time of Jesus. I was trying to chase the birds with the old-fashioned sling, the one that David used, you know, with a stone. And that stone damaged your eye. So you go to the judge, he said, look, this guy here damaged my eye, damaged his. I said, look, it was an accident. My brother, I didn't mean it. I was trying to chase the birds from the field. I said, look, forgive me. He said, no, the law says an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. I said, look, I'll compensate you. I'll give you a heifer. I'll give you a goat. Forgive me. He says, no, the law says an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. See, he's going for the letter of the law, he's forgotten the spirit. So Jesus Christ, another spiritual physician among the Jews, he caters for their needs, for the sickness. The man has forgot forgiveness. So now he said, you must forgive and forgive. How many times, Lord? He says 70 times 7. That's in the Bible, in the New Testament. 70 times 7. Calculate 490. 490. Are you going to take them literally? You're going to start counting? You say, look, this is 10 times. Huh? Now you have done 99 times. Huh? And now you have done 200 times. What it means is indefinite. See, turn the other cheek. He said, if somebody says, it has been said by them of old time, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say unto you, resist not evil. He who strikes you in the right cheek, give him the other. If a man takes away your coat, give him your cloak also. If a fellow makes you to walk 1 mile, walk with him 2. He said, agree with thine adversary quickly while thou art with him on the way, before he takes you before the magistrate and makes you to part with your last farthing. Beautiful remedy for a sickness. But I said, you haven't got that sickness. I was telling the British, I was there in London in July, and I was on BBC. Somebody started, throwing stones at the Muslim, jihad, jihad war, holy war. So I was telling them on BBC One, I said, you see, this holy war that we are talking about is a war of defense. You've got to defend yourself, your person, your possession, your faith, everything that is valuable you have